from Innocence, and welcome to the second episode, Redefining Human-Computer Interaction, a conversation with Agnese Augello. This is the episode for our Women in AI podcast series as part of the ELOQUENCE project to encourage and raise awareness of the amazing work of women in the field of artificial intelligence. This series takes you behind the scenes with the successful women who are leading the advances and continual developments of AI technology in their fields with personal stories of their careers, thus far balancing the objectivity of the subject matter to emphasize how anyone, anywhere, any sex or race can aspire to bring about positive change using technology. Today, I'm happy to present Dr. Agnese Augello. Agnes is a well-known person in the field of artificial intelligence and social robotics, concentrating on enhancing human-computer interfaces. She has a PhD in computer science engineering and has been working toward making the new generation of AI better communicators and implementers while maintaining a more human approach. In this episode, we will dive deep into Agnes' story, the scientific activity she carries out in the field of social robotics. Well, let me start by sharing the story. Hello, Agnes. How are you?
Hello, Nidana. Thank you for your kind invitation to be part of this podcast. I'm fine and I'm truly delighted to contribute to this initiative.
I'm welcomed. You're currently a researcher at the Institute for High Performance Computing and Networking of the National Research Council. Could you share more about your role there and about your journey into AI and social robotics? What intentionally sparked your interest in these fields?
My research focuses on design and development of AI system with the aim of enhancing human-computer interaction. And in particular, I deal with fostering cognitive architectures for conversational agents and social robots. With the aim to create agents able to interact with human beings, engaging through verbal, non-verbal communication, and additionally, I explore how these systems can be designed to engage in social and emotional interactions. Of course, this kind of research involves a multidisciplinary approach. So my work required considering insights from fields like social and cognitive sciences with the aim of promoting human-centered research. For what concerns my journey into AI, I started with a strong interest in conversational agents at a time when chatbots relied heavily on rule-based and pattern matching methods, which we know that were far from the impressive natural language understanding and the generation abilities we experience today. So since system had a limited ability to engage user in natural and flowing conversation. My interest at the time, both in symbolic field of computational ontologies and in sub-symbolic area of distributional semantics, sparked my curiosity to design hybrid systems. I aimed to model more consistent yet intuitive processes by integrating traditional chatbots with ontologies and flexible response mechanism, meaning association grounded on data-driven semantic spaces. Then, after that, I began to shift my attention towards integrating these AI systems in humanoid robots so that these virtual agents could physically interact with humans and exploring how a physical presence could enhance user engagement. And in particular, I modeled advanced social and ethical behavior by developing biologically inspired models, simulating decision-making processes driven, for example, by fulfillment of various needs, such as physiological, social, and cognitive. And I also focused on developing advanced functions like creativity, with the goal of designing systems that could adapt and respond to dynamic situations in a flexible way. And I especially became increasingly fascinated by how this interaction could affect the user on an emotional and social level, and especially when I analyze how robots, through introspective dialogues, could express the motivation behind their action and have an impact on the empathy of the user.
Oh, I'm amazed. I have a few questions more. You're part of the Augmented Human-Computer Interaction Research Group. Could you walk us through some of the innovative projects that your team is working on?
Yeah, sure. In our group, we work on integrating artificial intelligence into the action design to foster and augment the human-machine interaction paradigm by enabling, for example, multimodal natural interaction through gesture, vocal, and biofeedback mechanism, interaction mechanisms, and in particular in mixed reality environments. We work on design personalized solution based on user cognitive and motor needs. For example, one of the main research activities is the development of intelligent system in augmented reality that can support surgeons by providing interactive three-dimensional view of patient's anatomy, thus enhance, improve their spatial awareness in preoperative planning. Another research topic regards the design of cognitive models for virtual assistants and non-player characters to employ in the metaverse. For example, we introduce an architecture for socially aware agents named Meticat, enabling non-player characters to observe and understand social signals and modify their behavior according to social norms, user expectation, by equipping this agent with knowledge about social practices, so they can adapt to support the user also with specific needs, creating a more inclusive and responsive virtual space. Among the various projects we are currently involved, I can mention two important national funded projects. One is Smiler, which focuses on the development of serious gains for digital therapeutics for vulnerable groups, specifically children with chronic diseases like Down syndrome and asthma, with the aim to enhance physical activity and psychosocial well-being, analyzing physical and genomic data to assess the game effectiveness. Another interesting project in collaboration with the University of Milano Bicocca, University of Florence, and the research organization Indira. We are involved in a project named HERBS, where the acronym stands for Human Explanation of Robotic Behavior, that focuses on analyzing the explanation models people adopt when interacting with different types of robots. But currently, as most of the researchers in my group, I am mainly involved into the Horizon Europe project ELOQUENCE. This project is this project is at the forefront of the developing of advanced conversational AI technologies aimed at converting unstructured dialogues into clear, secure, and unbiased interactions. We want to create adaptable models that can be applied across various languages and also various use cases, prioritizing sustainability and European values, particularly in social and safety critical applications. As CNR, we are involved in evaluating the eloquence technology through 4 pilot studies. One of these, which I am primarily responsible for, aims to assess the conversational agents' ability to manage dialogues in socially appropriate and bias-free ways.
We'll talk about the eloquence pilot later in a few minutes. Before that, I have to ask you: have you faced, since this is a Women in AI episode, have you faced any challenges specific to being a woman in the AI field? And if so, how have you navigated them? And what advice would you offer to other women entering this space?
Okay, I can say I haven't faced significant challenges, except, for example, when it was difficult to stay aligned and maintain my research progresses in a dynamic field as AI during, for example, my pregnancies. Uh,
Mhm.
I also don't deny that on a very rare occasion, I felt I wasn't taken as seriously as my male colleagues.
Mhm.
And also, when I chose to study engineering, my family wasn't completely convinced. So they were hoping I will choose another field, even though they didn't hopefully show it or try to change my mind. But despite their concern, they didn't discourage me. So this allowed me to pursue my passion. I think that this can happen in fields where men are more represented, and we know that women in tech, of course, are still underrepresented. Even if the number um, have changed significantly over the years, especially compared when I started my career, particularly in my city, where for a long period I was the only female researcher with a permanent position in my institute in Palermo.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah, yeah. About, if I correctly remember, 5 years. So my advice to other women is to pursue their dreams and trust in their abilities, because I know that it can happen that those who are underrepresented may feel like they have to constantly prove their competence. And also, women in tech face gender stereotypes and biases. This is not just a theory. For example, it is interesting because it's related to our pilot. Studies analyzed the presence of biases in tools based on large language models, showing that even AI system can reflect and amplify societal biases. So this further proves that these challenges are deeply embedded in both our technology and culture. So it is essential
Mhm.
for women, yeah, to face this preconception in AI field.
I hope we will change just a bit those numbers that you were mentioning that, and we will try, for example, with this campaign to raise awareness and encourage women to pursue their dreams in this kind of field. You're mentioning social and ethical dimensions of AI, and I have questions about that. A significant part of your research is dedicated to developing cognitive architectures that addresses social and ethical behavior in AI. What are some of the challenges you encounter in modeling these high-level capabilities in artificial agents?
Yeah, there are several challenges in modeling social behaviors in artificial agents, and it is important to address them because we know that they are increasingly exploited in social contexts. For example, the use of robots is moving beyond controlled environments, and they are exploited as collaborators in homes, workplaces, and school, and in particular as assistive systems, and their presence and interaction can significantly impact the user. So, to be effective in these dynamic real world scenarios, Artificial agents need a cognitive architecture that allows them to be socially compliant and adaptable to unpredictable situations. Although advancement endowed agent robots with impressive communication abilities, these capabilities alone do not necessarily make them socially aware. The challenge involves more than just enhancing communicational skills, but it requires designing a system that can interpret human behavior, manage social norms, understanding the social dynamics, predicting user intention, and provide answer while avoiding the creation also of false expectation, especially for vulnerable individuals. Therefore, the major challenges lie in creating agents that are socially behavable and ethically compliant. And so it is important to meet essential requirements such as transparency and explainable in their interaction. I can say that in the project where I am currently involved, we are addressing these challenges by prioritizing human expectations and evaluating the cognitive and social abilities attributed to these agents during interaction. So it is important that their integration into social context is effective and responsible.
I understand. And about this domain also, what unique perspectives do you feel that women can bring to these fields, especially in areas like ethics and social behavior modeling?
Well, I read that according to some studies, women tend to score higher, for example, than men on empathy measures, both
Mhm.
yeah, both in terms of cognitive empathy, so the ability to understand another person's perspective, and also in terms of affective empathy, so the ability to respond appropriately to other emotions. So this can suggest that women they may bring a more empathetic perspective to AI design, a valuable quality, especially in developing AI system for sensitive application. However, I think that these differences, for example, in empathy scores, are influenced by social and environmental factors that individuals are exposed to throughout their lives, rather than gender-based predisposition. So, in my opinion, everyone, according to their own qualities and experiences, brings a unique contribution to the field of AI and social robotics. So the important thing, the key, is ensuring that AI research represent diversity as broadly as possible in terms of gender, but also in terms of sociocultural diversity. And this is it is increasingly becoming clear through the tool and system we are using, which are mirrors of our societal structures. Uh, the diversity is more crucial than ever. And diversity that, however, should not be forced, but that instead it should be ensured in a way that promotes genuine inclusion and can enriches the process of creating AI system. Variety of skills and perspective is essential to enrich team dynamics, foster creativity, lead to innovative solution, and produce a technology that can benefit all people in meaningful ways.
I understand. You are mentioning the Eloquence project and involvement of the CNR. Also, you are leading a pilot on assessing conversational agents' ability to manage dialogues in social appropriate and bias-free ways. Could you tell us more about this pilot and what it aims to achieve?
Yeah, the pilot, led by CNRs, explores the application of eloquence technologies in a real-world social context. We focus specifically on counseling practices as a case study. So, in this scenario, conversational agents powered by large language models are envisioned as virtual advisors providing personalized and context-aware guidance. We choose this case study because it represents a complex scenario. It involves, in fact, sensitive consideration, requiring agents to address the diverse socio-cultural backgrounds and the individual needs of user. So virtual advisor should interact with user without reinforcing or amplifying the social biases, which may be present in their training data. For instance, a counselor may assume, based on student cultural background, that they are it is strongly tied to traditional family values and will not want to live far from home, for example.
Mhm.
So yeah, such assumption could limit option for study abroad programs, thereby restricting the student opportunity. And similarly, gender biases might lead a counselor to avoid suggesting STEM fields, thus limiting their academic and career prospects. Social and cultural factors we know that significantly shape user expectation and influence interaction. So this is, I think, that is a complex landscape for virtual agent. And in Eloquence and, of course, in the pilot, we are adopting a multicultural and multilingual approach to examine the presence of social biases in conversation generated by LLMs. This involves stimulating the generation of conversation with a diverse set of user profiles that represent a wide range of social identities and groups. So the diversity of these profiles is essential for uncovering potential biases and assessing how these biases may affect the agent's responses. So we place a strong emphasis on social context, both for formalizing the agent's knowledge, but also for assessing the presence of biases.
Understand. Thank you for thank you for this introduction about the eloquence and the pilot. About the diversity in AI, we know it is essential to create more inclusive and effective technology. And from your perspective, what steps could be taken in research institution, as CNR is, and AI industry to foster greater diversity?
I think that several initiatives could be explored. For example, promoting AI and STEM education, of course, in high school, uh,
Mhm.
to engage students for diverse backgrounds, offering flexible learning and working opportunities. So it will be can be possible to accommodate different socioeconomic and personal needs, making AI research and careers more accessible. But also implementing inclusive hiring practices and supporting diverse representation in leadership position. Another key strategy is encouraging interdisciplinary collaboration to bring together diverse perspectives, especially considering that research in our field is highly multidisciplinary.
Mhm. And just to wrap up this conversation, for those interested in pursuing a career in AI, especially women, what advice would you give besides the following the dreams?
Yes, of course, I suggested to follow targeted educational pathways,
Mhm.
such as STEM programs. But it is also important to strengthen existing networks that connect AI profession, especially women in AI, um, and to increase the contact of these networks with school to provide guidance, inspiration through mentorship programs. Arrange guest lectures where successful women can share their experiences and be of inspiration. Also to empower more women to pursue careers in AI. It would be important to provide financial support through scholarship, dedicated research grant for projects led by women. Um, so the creative inclusive work environments are other strategies to encourage participation in AI fields.
I agree with you, and maybe I will add just maybe raising awareness among families, among parents, to guide somehow the children, and especially the female children, that they have ability to study science like it is AI. And finally, for what's next for you in your research? Are there any project or areas of study that you're looking forward to exploring?
Yes, I plan to further explore topics such as ethics, explainability, because as I before, my aim is to design a system that are not only effective but also transparent and accountable. This is particularly important in my research field of social robotics and human augmentation. I think that based on the results that I will achieve from the current projects I'm involved in, I would like to delve deeper into whether, for example, a formalized concept of explanation could enable agent to not only be explainable, but also to be able to introspectively and critically analyze its internal processes, focusing on a factor that led to specific outcomes. By doing so, agents will be able to make their action more understandable, both to themselves and to the user, fostering more effective communication and also enhancing trust in AI. And moreover, I want to investigate um, how can we also avoid preemptive censorship in a large language model? Because I think that also this censorship that we observe, for example, in tools such as, for example, ChatGPT, uh, can also be influenced by biases. I observe
Mhm.
this, I don't know if you also notice when attempted to force this tool to generate some text or image, maybe
Mhm.
there is yeah a preemptive censorship. I think that in my plan, I want to work more on context, and it is important to have the possibility to access in some way these technologies to study how biases emerge as a reflection of our society, but also to prevent overlooking the nuances of context when generating contents and to avoid imposing limitation that could inhibit creativity or distort the complexity of the real world. So this is my plan for future.
Wonderful. Thank you, Agnes, for this amazing talk. Thank you for sharing the insights from your profession, from the Eloquence project and the pilots, and also for recommendations for the young girls. Thank you once again for this podcast.
Thank you again. I really appreciated this opportunity and this insightful conversation.
Thank you. Thank you.